And welcome to the No Show Sportscast, first pitch tip-off, kickoff, face-off, here for you on Mondays and Fridays. I'm Matt Klein, and we're going to be getting into some Vancouver Canucks action. Just recently came off of a 4-3 overtime loss to the St. Louis Blues in crushing fashion. Brayden Schenn looking like public enemy number one now. Are we out on the hit for him now? Is that where we're going with this? Because it looks like he just found a way to get inside of the referees, get them doing whatever he needed them to do, because a blatant cross-check caused him to become wide open, and then Casey DeSmith was screened for the game winner in overtime. I mean, Pius Suter with the hat trick to tie it up at the very end of the game there. Huge, and he has become a very excellent option for the third line or the second line. And we saw him on the power play, too. He's been in there because you earned it on Wednesday night. But unfortunately, they came up short because the referees decided to ignore basically everything, like we're in the overtime of a Game 7 in the playoffs. I mean, come on. What? It's a bad look. It's not a good look at all. I would be livid. I would be calling for the NHL to make some huge changes, some huge adjustments. Just look at it. Acknowledge it, okay? This isn't like in the NBA or in the NFL where players are going to now go public with their disgruntled takes. They're not gonna say, well, the referees just ruined us. You know, Elias Pettersson, the most well-mannered guy ever. That guy does not say anything out of pocket. I understand. It's not my team, and that would be really, really frustrating for me. I mean, my goodness, if that happened to the Lightning and they hadn't won a couple of cups, it would be just catastrophic. And I'm sure a lot of Canucks fans are looking at that and like, wait a minute, what? You can get away with that now? Were there cross-checks? Maybe there were. Maybe guys were getting away with cross-checks for the entire game. Maybe I missed a few. Maybe there were cross-checks that this referee now, he's like, yeah, you know what? We're going to let these go, okay? Brayden Schenn, the newly appointed captain. But St. Louis, they've had their number. They've had the Canucks number. But still, one more game until the All-Star break. Columbus Blue Jackets. See how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be great, you know. Everything's gonna be all right, you know. Especially when you're atop of the Western Conference. So the Canucks are still rolling. Everything's going great. I'm sure if Demko were in net, it would have been a little bit different. Being up 2-0 going into the third period, not a great look. Maybe the Canucks were just tired from that road trip. There's always a factor like that. But I don't think against a team that's just doesn't make a whole lot of noise in the St. Louis Blues. They kind of just gloss over every year, and we don't really expect a whole lot from them. But maybe this is different. They're going to be packing a punch. This is what is going to come. This is what's going to happen. And just not take wins for granted, I suppose. That road trip was a while ago anyways. They shouldn't have been exhausted. It's not like Chicago gave them a run for their money either. But we've got NFL news, obviously. It's the AFC and NFC championship games. This is huge. Now, I think that Patrick Mahomes, what I've found happen in football is it's very hard for another player or another team to kind of take the crown away from someone else. That is a very rare thing for a team or a player or a franchise to be able to do. And I think a lot of people are looking forward to the Chiefs' demise. Unfortunately, that's just what happens when a lot of success happens time and time again. And the Baltimore Ravens appear to be that different team. And I genuinely think that the Ravens are going to be able to beat the Chiefs. I just think that the Ravens playing at home, their defense has been dominant all year. I think their weapons are going to be more involved and more effective. But it really does appear like they are completely evenly matched. And then, of course, you're going to have to rely deeply on, is Lamar going to be able to get the Ravens over the hump? That is the biggest difference. Mahomes has nothing to prove here. He has done this time and time again. He lives for these moments, and he does not lose. Unless your name is Joe Burrow or Tom Brady. You cannot beat him. And that's just one of the many realities, because the Chiefs seem to be gaining more momentum, and the Ravens have kind of just been very, very steady. They've been linear. Their success has been linear. So it's very, very much a close battle, but I do think that the Ravens have the edge because they have just been better. They have shown a whole lot more as they dismantle their opponents, and they're going to score more points than the Chiefs because I think that their defense is going to trump the Chiefs' defense. And it's going to be an excellent coaching matchup. It's going to be huge. It's going to be spectacular. But hey, Ravens and Chiefs, we don't want to encourage the conspiracy that the NFL is scripted, but my goodness, is it going to be San Francisco and Baltimore in the Super Bowl? I'm afraid it will be. It's going to be Baltimore. Well, let's see. Is there a purple team in the NFC that can go up against the Jets next year for Super Bowl 59? Well, regardless, it's not going to matter a whole lot because it's all going to come down to San Francisco and San Francisco beating Detroit. I don't think that's a lock. I really don't think it is. I think that the Lions can beat them. I mean, how amazing would it be if the Lions and the Chiefs played in the Super Bowl? But I think it's going to be Ravens and the Lions because I don't think Debo's playing, and McCaffrey's going to have to do all the work. And I don't know about Brock Purdy in these moments. I like Jared Goff more. I like him throwing the ball to guys like Williams and St. Brown more than Purdy throwing it to Ayuk and George Kittle. San Francisco defense, I really hope that they do a great job and that we see an excellent back and forth game. But I don't know if they can do what they need to do. I mean, I assume that they can. I assume that they're going to be that number one defense like we expected going into this season. Because they added lots of guys. They added Gregory, Chase Young. And they've always been elite. They've always been that spectacular. But it's going to be very difficult against these kinds of offensive weapons. Going head-to-head, that's the thing. You know, if you're a good team like the 49ers and you have the defense of the 49ers, well, then you got to be going against the top offensive units that there are out there. Especially when Ben Johnson's going to be cranking up the offense. Jared Goff's going to be throwing, and Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be running all over the place. I think it's very much these four teams in the championship games are going to be extremely close. They all could end out on top. Very much could be Chiefs and 49ers, and I think it will be. But I'm taking the Ravens, and I'm taking the Lions. And I want to see that because I think I'm going to enjoy it a little bit more than the 49ers and the Chiefs. I'm kind of bummed out. I'm kind of sick of those two. So let's move on. Let's get past those. But it is also a time of mourning because in about 2.5 weeks it's going to be the Super Bowl and then a very, very long off season, which feels like forever. So we're hopefully there's not gonna be any injuries. Okay, let's not manifest injuries here. There's none of that stuff. Okay, Brock, keep your elbow intact, my man. Please do. Please keep it in one piece. Keep it together. Okay. My goodness. Wow, it's gonna be close, you know. And it's gonna be great. I'm glad that they're both on Sunday because I'm going to be pretty busy on Saturday. I'm a little bit sick, recovering from a cold, so wasn't able to upload on Monday, and it's going to be a little bit sporadic, especially in February because I will be away from February 10th to 25th. And, you know, the Super Bowl recap will have to it'll come for sure. I'm going to make one when I'm when I'm away, so I'll be uploading that, and yeah, but I'll definitely be getting a Super Bowl, I guess preview show with Josh and Mohammed. We'll be having that one. That's going to be awesome. So tune into that one.